All right, and we're back. This is Hook and Ladder. This is the playoff bowl game transfer portal episode. Maybe multiple bowl episodes. Who knows?
Yes.
Probably multiple transfer episodes. But this is the December 18th episode. So I guess we're going to get started. We haven't talked about the initial playoffs. So I guess we'll go
where
ahead.
we left off was after championship weekend, and unfortunately, Mike Leach passed. Great coach, awesome interview. I'm gonna miss all the things he says during media days, before games, halftime interviews, post game interviews. That dude was funny. Really cool. Tributes to him all last week on TV. It was really cool to see some of the interviews from back in the day, Texas Tech stuff, Washington State stuff, things I hadn't seen before. So really cool. But that kind of sucks because he was a
Really good head coach.
Yeah, he was a good head coach, and fitting the last pass play he called was a touchdown. So
Yeah.
rest in peace, Mike Leach.
Yes, absolutely. No, had some great games. I remember the Texas Tech game. We were in Kentucky for that.
Yep.
Was it
Yeah.
Oklahoma or Texas they were playing? And
It was Texas. I
Yeah.
think Texas was very highly ranked. They won the last second of the game where that was a
Crabtree.
Crabtree. Yeah.
Crabtree.
And a hell of a grab. And got by two guys there at the corner and walked in the end zone.
Yeah. All right. Well, sorry to see him go.
Yeah.
I think that Mississippi State was going to have a good program going forward here in the next 2 or 3 years. They might actually be contending for the West. But, that is a shame. But we'll move on. So, on December 31st, TCU's taking on Michigan. 4 o'clock, Fiesta Bowl. Who you got here?
I got Michigan taking this game. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than a lot of people think it's going to be. Watching that conference championship game with TCU, they got down at Kansas State pretty early, but as TCU has done all year, they fought back. Duggan looked great running the football, put the team on his shoulders and brought him back. I think he's going to have a big game in this game, running the football himself. But I think Michigan's going to win. I just think it's going to be a close game.
Okay.
And, we talked about this last time. Like I said, we left off at championship weekend. And TCU is the first team in the playoff era that has been a top 4 team, lost and not dropped. Which, anybody watched that last episode, I talked about it. I felt they should drop to 4. There was precedent before the playoff committee set by having a team jump 2 spots. I thought they could have had Ohio State jump 2. I thought that was the right call, but I get the committee not wanting that rematch in a semifinal game. The committee wants Michigan and Ohio State to play for the national championship, so I get why they did it.
So that brings us to this next game. Ohio State against Georgia. What do you think?
I think this is going to be a close game, but it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be like each team in the 30s, in my opinion. I said last episode, if Ohio State gets in, they're winning the whole thing. And I'm not comparing to Alabama when they didn't win their conference and they got in 2017, ended up beating Clemson in the Sugar Bowl and then Georgia in the national championship game. Different scenarios. I just think, they had a mulligan. They lost to Michigan. Now they're in. They are extremely talented. They really haven't been tested too much. Michigan was the one big test. They played a decent Penn State team who I think got better as the year went on after that, after playing Ohio State. But I think Ohio State's going to win this game. I just got that gut feeling.
Well, no. I mean, who knows? I mean, they're sitting at the house the past month, angry, irritated.
Yeah. They coming in, the chip on their shoulder. All they've heard about how they can't beat the SEC. They don't deserve to be there. They get the mulligan against Michigan. They've heard all Michigan blew the doors of us at home. Yeah. They get the mulligan. They get in. They got something to prove. They're hungry. This is kind of, I've been listening to some podcasts and stuff like that. It's not really a must-win situation for Ryan Day. Let's face facts. Ryan Day is a great coach. He's got that program humming just like Urban Meyer did. Urban Meyer went to a playoff, won a national championship in 2015, the very first playoff. And, lost a couple of conference titles, won a couple of conference titles. But I think Ryan Day is kind of like right there. He's Ryan Day. This is the 3rd time he's been in the playoff. He went to a national championship game and lost to Alabama. So it's not like he hasn't done anything other than win a title, okay? And not like he's incapable of it. But he's got that program humming. And I find it interesting that they lose to Michigan 2 years in a row and people want to fire the guy. So there's a lot of pressure on him. Ohio State has a ton of pressure on them in this game. They could fold. I have this feeling I think they're going to win. And I also have something in the back of my mind is telling me that college football as a whole, the powers that be, whatever, they want a Michigan-Ohio State national championship final. Way more of a bigger deal than Alabama and Georgia, two SEC teams ever could dream of being with this. This is the most hated rivalry in all of college football, in my opinion. Having them play for the national title, that's going to have some butts puckered, for a few hours in that area of the country. But I don't know. It's just a gut feeling I have.
Anything's possible. Any of these four teams are deserving. They're the top four deserving teams.
Yeah, any one of them can win. I wouldn't be super shocked. I think Georgia's the best team. I really think Georgia can beat Ohio State and probably should, but there's something in the back of my head telling me that Ohio State's got this one.
We left them. Somebody let them in the dance, and now they're going to show up.
And they should have been really because look, Alabama, 2-loss team. You could say but they lost combined 4 points, but I don't care. They lost 2 games.
And had Caleb Williams not blown his hamstring and kept playing, they
on a sweet run.
USC would probably be in this game right now.
Yep.
And who knows how that
Caleb Williams not being able to run the football and scramble
altered the course of that game.
Yeah, exactly. It was that was huge.
Yes.
So Ohio State's in. Good for them.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be good. That one's gonna be played here in Atlanta at the Peach Bowl, 8:00 New Year's Eve. I'm sure we'll be watching it, maybe together watching. I don't know.
I don't know what's happening there.
I'd like to go to the game.
Ticket prices have dropped, so it's $318 now. It was $324 standing room only earlier today. So if it gets in the $250 range, I think I could swing it.
And I don't want to stand, but $250 I might do it. I've already got a babysitter lined up. And one of our other friends messaged me yesterday that he wants to go and doesn't really want to go by himself.
Right.
So. We'll see what happens. I think it'd be fun to go to a playoff game. I've never been before.
And don't have a...
You've been to a playoff game.
I have. I went to the LSU-Oklahoma game.
At the Peach Bowl.
At the Peach Bowl, and that game got out of control early. I don't even think... We didn't even stay to watch the rest of the game. It was over with by the second quarter started, and we were like, I've never seen a team just explode on another team like that in a bowl matchup like that. But it was pretty intense.
So if we get to go to this game, this will be my first playoff game. So that'd be kind of cool.
Pop that cherry.
Yeah, right. Hopefully first of many.
Yeah. Let's see. You want to go talk about transfer portal now?
Let's do transfer portal last. Let's do some bowls. A couple of bowls got played so far that were pretty damn entertaining.
Yeah, let me scroll back here. All right, so Friday, December 16th, was it
University
UT
of Texas,
San Antonio against Troy. Troy knocked them off 18-12. You see any of this?
Yeah, I watched this game. Man, so Taylor, few halves, really. First half, UTSA, was doing some things and put some points on the board. Troy would move the football, and they would just be some really bad throws by the QB for picks. One of them was in the end zone.
Right.
Troy just didn't look like they had it. And in the second half, it was 4 consecutive drives where University of Texas San Antonio turned it over. So I had momentum, so I had a shift. Troy scored a late touchdown. And to end up winning the game, and then, good game. Fun to watch. It was definitely worth tuning into just for entertainment value. But it was kind of an ugly game by both teams. Right. This next one, which was later in that day, which was a lot better.
That's the UAB versus Miami of Ohio.
Yes.
The hometown lenders Bahamas Bowl.
They're in the Bahamas. Nice climate. But Miami of Ohio had this pretty much in firm control. Late in the game, UAB scored, took the lead, and then Miami of Ohio goes down the field. And it reminded me of that Super Bowl. It was the Rams versus, the Houston,
Texans, Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans, yeah. So they threw the ball. Guy catches it. He gets down. He tries to stretch it to the end zone. Similar situation. Last play of the game. Nice 10-yard pass. Guy catches it, but if he leads them, I firmly believe he catches it and goes in the end zone. But it was kind of had to stop a little behind him. He gets tackled at the 2-yard line. So Miami of Ohio loses. Great effort. Good game. You know, it was kind of one of those, like, nobody wanted to do anything until the fourth quarter. And then all of a sudden, fourth quarter, like, hey, let's play football for a little bit.
We got to win a game here.
Yeah, so it was an entertaining game. Yeah. Both games that day were entertaining. And there were some really good FCS games that day as well. North Dakota State versus University of Incarnate Word, which I was pulling for to win the whole thing. They were up pretty good. Had a chance to, I think, go up like 20-0. And guy catches the pass in the end zone, goes out of bounds, but he was bobbling it. So guy called touchdown, like game's over, reverse. Then they fumble. North Dakota State gets the football, and then like the rest of the game, you know, back and forth, really good back and forth game. North Dakota State ended up winning.
Cool.
What was another game that was on that same night? Another one I was watching. Oh, the Division III, Mount Union versus somebody, and then I think Mount Union. I don't really follow Division III football, but I think they've been like a juggernaut, and they got knocked off. So that was a cool game to watch. They were down 21-0 in the fourth quarter, and Mount Union came roaring back, and they ended up losing 28-21.
All right, moving right along. Oregon State knocked off Florida in the Vegas Bowl 30-3.
Oh, you love it.
Yep.
But, you know, look, I guess opt-outs, I mean, that stuff's real. Like, you lose guys, it severely diminishes your chances of winning. They had, everybody was out. There was only 2 guys that played. Gervon Dexter and Copeland were the only 2 guys, and Parasol were the only 2 guys I even knew their names. Playing in this game. Oregon State was coming in, though, with their 2 wide receivers out, and their running back got hurt early in the game, but, man, Oregon State looked good. They had, remind me a lot of 2018 Georgia. Really, really good defense. Offense, okay, but if that defense is eventually going to keep you in it by keep forcing 3 and outs, great field position, and the offense kind of took over. Offense played well in this game, but that's kind of the vibe I got from that team. Nothing they did offensively wowed me, but defensively, Florida couldn't do anything. And they couldn't run the football at all. You know, great win, though. That's a 3rd time, I think, in program history they've gotten to 10 wins. So good for them.
Well, they're 14th in the country. They'll probably be, it'll be top 10 for
I watched them, that big comeback they had against Oregon. I watched that game. That was great. And they played very, very well this game. I really enjoyed watching it. Hanging out in Las Vegas, have a good time, win your bowl game.
That's right. Can't complain about that. Louisville knocked off Cincinnati 24-7. The Fenway Bowl. This was in Fenway Park.
Yeah, both teams are on the same sideline. Looks stupid. I think it's ridiculous. This is a football game at Fenway Park, considering New England as a whole isn't really a college football, mecca. People don't even care too much about college football. Yeah. It's all NFL and Major League Baseball and the NBA up there. I didn't really watch much of this game. I did pick Louisville to win, and they did convincingly. I kind of saw the writing on the wall the last couple of times, which is basically the last 2 weeks of the season. I watched Cincinnati. Obviously, that was good. I mean, you lose all the guys they did, it's going to be a drop-off. They don't recruit like Alabama and Ohio State, Clemson do. Fickle announced that he's gone, and then you kind of could see the way this might be leaning that way, and unfortunately it happened. It's bowl season. It's not always the most talented teams winning. Opt-outs are real. Coaching changes are real. A lot of things can affect, especially some of these early bowl games.
There's a lot of decks getting shuffled around right now, and a lot of people are in the portal. We'll talk about in just a second. Fresno knocked off Washington State to 29-6.
I watched this game. Hainer looked pretty good. Washington State, I thought, was a better football team. Their quarterback's a really good athlete, not really a great quarterback. But Jake Hayner's a good QB. I don't know what year he is, but he got hurt really bad earlier this year. Fought all hell to come back and get back on the field for him, and he looked good. He's a good QB. Kind of reminds me of a kind of guy like a Tannehill, kind of like a journeyman NFL QB who just spends the next 12 years in the league. Never going to be an all-pro, but just starts for a handful of different teams. That's the kind of guy this dude is. He's a gamer.
Cool. Southern Miss knocked off Rice 38-24. Frank Gore 329 yards rushing.
Kid was awesome. And he only had 3 Power 5 offers coming out of high school. Dude's going to be a senior next year. Wonder if he decides to hit the portal. We shall see. I haven't seen his name in today. I haven't really looked today, but
we'll scroll through there in just a second.
Like that guy, dude, I'm telling you, this kid can jump on a team and make a name for himself and really fire up those draft. Fire right up on those draft boards.
Make him some money for sure. Let's see. SMU lost to BYU 24-23. I haven't seen any bowl games.
I watched most of this game. That was a pretty good game. Kind of fell asleep for a second there towards the end of it, but I did catch the end. Good game. It's kind of like not super exciting, but I enjoy watching BYU.
Boise State knocked off North Texas 35-32. Excuse me.
I missed most of that game, and I think it was like a really fun game towards the end. Like I fell asleep.
Was it late last night?
Yeah, I fell asleep. I had too many drinks.
Too many beverages.
Kind of fell asleep on the old reclining chair. Yeah. I woke up, can still in hand. You're like, oh shit, I gotta finish it up. It's 2 a.m. Go to bed.
There's a game Monday. Marshall at UConn. It's the Myrtle Beach Bowl. So that's be South Carolina. $28. We can go to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah,
Monday.
right. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Let's see.
I have no idea who's going to win that game, but I'm just really happy that UConn's back, somewhat relevant, being able to go to a bowl game.
Who's their head coach? Is it God, what's the name? Old head coach of
Shano?
No, the Falcons' old head coach.
Oh, yeah. I can picture his face.
Yes.
It's not his name. Yeah. I want to say Quinn, but I don't think that's it.
It's not Quinn. It's...
I can picture his face, though.
Morton? No. Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember his names.
Vic was the guy who put him in. Anyway, Eastern Michigan.
A couple of nice games on Tuesday.
Eastern
Michigan,
San Jose State. $5 in Boise. Let's get your flight.
Oh, no, that's weird. Boise didn't get to play in their own bowl game. Yeah. That's probably good, though. Yeah. That's Liberty a fun game to watch.
Toledo.
Hugh Freeze is gone from Liberty. He's now the head coach at Auburn. I saw he was had a lot of transfer portal visitors.
I'm sure.
This weekend, and that should be a decent game. It's another game. I think Liberty is obviously the better team, but that coaching carousel, is that going to have a big effect on them? We shall see.
Western Kentucky on Wednesday takes on South Alabama.
I love that we've got games every day of the week. Yeah. That's my favorite part of a bowl season. Is every single day is a game on.
Yeah, New Orleans Bowl. If you were in New Orleans, that'd be a good game to go to.
Yeah.
You get hammered on Bourbon Street, walk to the stadium, check it out, and go back to Bourbon Street. Let's see, Baylor at Air Force, 7:30 Thursday night.
Baylor was a little bit disappointing in my opinion this year, but I watched them a bunch towards the end of the season, and they were fun to watch. They've got some offensive weapons. Defense is okay. I thought they played TCU really, really well. Yeah. I thought they would win that game. Yeah. They played Air Force. I don't really know much about Air Force. I didn't think I watched them at all this year. But I enjoyed watching Baylor, so I'm definitely going to check this game out. Cool. They got really good wide receivers. A little small dude. He's like 5'7", but can run faster than like freaking Usain Bolt. He's one of those dudes. I like watching them run end arounds, that guy.
Yeah, I'll bring it back in. Okay, let's see. You got, on Friday, you got Houston versus Louisiana. The Raging Cajuns, Independence Bowl. If you're in Shreveport for $12, you can check these guys out. I don't know anything about this game, how it's going to match up. Interesting ACC-SEC matchup. Wake Forest at Missouri. They'll be playing at Raymond James Stadium at the...
Tampa, the home of the Buccaneers.
Yeah, Union Home, Mortgage,
Gasparilla Bowl. Okay, so I didn't know what game Missouri was getting in. I know that they were invited to play a bowl game against Kansas, and Missouri declined. Why? I don't have any idea. Yeah. I know they did lose one of their best playmakers, the wide receiver. I think his name is Lovett.
Yeah.
But this is not a bad game. This could be a sneaky good game because when Missouri's offense is rolling the right way, they can put up some points. Wake Forest can do the same thing. They both have the capability of turning the ball over a massive amount of times.
Right.
Neither one of them's defense is really all that good, although in the Georgia game, Missouri's defense played really freaking good. I'm going to pick Missouri to win this game because I just think they've got more athletes on the field with guys like a Luther Burden. I'm going to pick Missouri, but I'm excited that I'm off on Friday, so I'm going to watch both these games in their entirety with a couple of beers in my hand.
There you go. Saturday, Christmas
You
Eve.
know, one game on Christmas Eve? Come on, man. Oh, what time is it?
That's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock at night? Perfect. Christmas Eve? I don't know. Call me crazy. There's nothing better on Christmas Eve than a night college football bowl game.
Wasn't there a lot of NFL games next Saturday?
I have no idea.
There's a couple of them. They
Can't
were
listen
yesterday.
to the NFL.
Yeah. Middle Tennessee at San Diego State.
No idea who's going to win that game, but I'm going to pick the
Hawaii
Aztecs.
Hawaii
It's in
Bowl.
Hawaii?
Yeah,
Good for them.
yeah,
They get to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
There'll be like 50 people in this crowd, in the stands.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Let's see. Monday, we got New Mexico State at Bowling Green. I'm off Monday for $4
Me
at
too.
Ford Field. Yeah.
It's in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, I'm not watching any of this game. Look at this.
I'll watch that game. I'll be home.
Yeah. Ooh.
Tuesday, we got 4 games. Look at that.
Georgia Southern plays at high noon against Buffalo. They're playing in Montgomery.
Montgomery, Alabama.
Ooh.
Yeah,
The Crompton Bowl? Camilla Bowl?
Camila Bowl, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. For Buffalo, it's going to be like in the 50s next Tuesday. I think. No, is that what day? It's going to be like 26 degrees for the high or something crazy like that. Memphis at Utah State. That's a 3:15. The Surf Pro First Responders Bowl. That's going to be in Dallas.
That's always a pretty good bowl.
Okay.
They do a good job. You know, Surf Pro does a good job honoring first responders. They do a good job with bowl. I don't know what to call it. Like everything other than the game. Like timeouts, commercial breaks. They do a lot of cool stuff coming back from commercial breaks and timeouts. I think it's kind of a neat bowl to watch just for that. Just like the Cheez-It Bowl.
We got the Coastal Carolina against East Carolina. The Ticket Smart Birmingham
Bowl.
That'll be it's a $20 ticket. That'll be a protective stadium in Birmingham. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Wisconsin at Oklahoma State. Is Graham Marks playing this game, or he's in the
I think
portal?
he's gone.
He's in the portal already.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't know who's playing quarterback. If it's that kid that came in for him, then I expect Oklahoma to win by like 1 million.
Yeah.
And I have no idea whether Sanders. I think Sanders is in the portal too, isn't he? So I have no idea who's playing QB. I don't really care. Oklahoma State's going to win this game, I feel. I don't think Wisconsin has any talent on this team, and I don't think they even want to play. One of those deals where, what is it, Fickle is probably going to be in the booth, watching his team, seeing what he's got, as is, kind of the tradition with a new coach like that. There's an interim coach in the game. They did learn wrong, in my opinion. And I forgot. Leonard. They did him wrong, in my opinion. I know the players really liked him and they liked playing for him. You can't just hire a guy because he went there. But I really feel he had something going on with them.
They're playing better.
They were playing better. I mean, like I said, they lack talent, in my opinion. No longer do they have these like a stable of running backs like they've had for decades. Right? It's not the Wisconsin we grew up on.
Right.
But they still should be pretty good.
Yeah.
And they're not, and that's sad.
Well, they've been disappointed in the past few years.
Yeah, they haven't been the same. Basically, ever since Graham Mertz started playing quarterback there. And he was supposed to be like the guy that could get him over the hump. Oklahoma State, really, really disappointing year. They had a lot of dudes coming back. Spencer Sanders was poised for a great year, and they just dropped a boatload of games.
Yeah, I think they came out of the gates playing well, and then that season just kind of fell apart. Duke playing Central Florida. Military Bowl. This is going to be in Annapolis. Yeah. Okay.
The Naval Academy?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Naval Marine Corps.
Military Bowl.
Yeah. Okay.
Gus Malzahn probably have his team ready to take on Duke. I like watching Gus Malzahn's team. They got some decent players on there.
Yeah. And you got Kansas at Arkansas. This will be the AutoZone
Liberty Bowl
in Memphis. That's actually probably wasn't a bad game to go to.
No, Wednesday at 5:30. I'll be watching that game.
Let's see, Oregon at North Carolina. This is going to be the Petco Park San Diego Bowl. This could be an interesting matchup here.
I have a feeling Oregon is going to commit felony murder on North Carolina. There's a lot of talk about Drake May going in the portal. They can't play defense. I don't see them stopping Oregon. And as much as I'd like to say, well, Drake May they put up a lot of points. I mean, saw kind of what happened the last few games.
Right.
They really struggled to score. It's going to be a bloodbath. Yeah. Good for Oregon getting a nice bowl win.
Texas Tech at Ole Miss. Let's see, this is the TaxAct Texas Bowl. NRG Stadium, Houston, Texas.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Nice stadium.
Yeah.
Expect Ole Miss to win that game. I didn't see a lot of Ole Miss players in the portal. So we'll see what happens there. You hear more about portal guys than you do opt-out guys at the moment.
Yeah. So it's Thursday night. You got Syracuse at Minnesota, 2 o'clock start. The Bronx, Yankee Stadium. Okay, the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Interesting. And then you got a Cheez-It Bowl here, 5:30, Oklahoma at Florida State. This is going to be at Camping World Stadium in Orlando.
The Cheez-It Bowl is one of my favorite bowls. I just love, and they give out cheeses to everybody. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, my thing with this bowl is you got Florida State, 13th ranked team in the country playing an unranked
Oklahoma. I know some of the bowls have tie-ins, but usually those tie-ins are
better
New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, like the Capital One. I don't care what it's called now, as long as the Capital One. Same thing as the Outback Bowl, Music City Bowl, and I think the one in Memphis, which was on Wednesday, that one's got some tie-ins as well. I could be wrong, but I usually think it's like an ACC team and an SEC team for the most part. But anyway.
It's kind of, I don't know, like to me, you got a number 15th ranked Oregon playing an unranked North Carolina, and you got a unranked Oklahoma playing a 13th ranked Florida State. North Carolina, Florida State, same conference. Why couldn't you put Oregon, Florida State in the same game?
Yeah.
Match them up and then have North Carolina and Oklahoma. I guess Florida State wanted to Florida and Oregon wanted to play out in the West Coast.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I know that ADs do sometimes get notified and can say yes or no. And if there's multiple bowls that want them, they can kind of say which one they like. They have a little bit of leeway, not a lot, but a little bit at least.
I don't know. I just would like a good matchup.
Yeah, I mean, that's this one right here.
Yeah. Texas
number 20, Texas, at number 12, Washington. In the Valero Bowl. That's always a good one. The gas station bowl.
Yeah, that's going to be a good matchup. Texas has had
San Antone.
Yeah, Texas has been up and down this year. So is Washington. They got the quarterback. And I think it's a good matchup here. Let's see, Friday. This is
a lot of games on Friday.
Yes, so you got the Dukes Mayo. You got Maryland, NC State.
Yep, Devin Leary in the portal.
And to be in Charlotte. In the portal, they say he's going to Kentucky. Maybe. I don't know. Pittsburgh, UCLA playing the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I guess if Jimmy Kimmel can have a bowl,
Tony Tiger can have a bowl.
Tony Tiger, yeah. Tax Slayer Bowl.
Look at this matchup.
All right, so I want to talk about this one for a minute. I mean, it should be a good game. In Notre Dame, South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina basically just had their only 2 running backs hit the portal. And not good for them because I did think they had a really good chance of winning this game.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to run the football.
Yeah.
They might just have Rattler throw the football the whole damn time. They've been doing well with that. I don't really know who else is in the portal other than those 2 guys.
Well, Notre Dame only have a quarterback right now.
Yeah, because he's in the portal as well.
The portal too.
Which I thought was stupid. The dude played like the whole season. Yeah, he took over for an injured player, but he played the whole freaking season. Oh well, but somebody made a funny joke about this game saying this is the Who's Clemson's Daddy bowl game. So,
fair enough.
Which we'll get to them in a second.
Ohio and Wyoming in the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. Well, good for them. They're getting a bowl game. 4:30 on Barstool Channel. Okay. Tennessee against Clemson, the Battle of the Orange in the Orange Bowl. That's really interesting. 6 versus 7. That's an interesting matchup.
Look, I know Hooker's done for the year with an injury. You've had 3 guys, Wyatt, the other wide receiver, I forgot his name, and then their starting tackle, Darnell Wright, all go, say they're going to enter the NFL draft. I'm assuming all 3 have opted out of this game, but I still think they're capable of putting up some points. I have a feeling Clemson's winning this game, and it's Klubnik.
Yeah.
DJ Uiagalelei is in the portal. He portaled like the next day after the last game. But Kublik, was it Cade Kublik? That dude's a difference maker, and I do feel that Tennessee's probably the better team. I know Clemson's had a bunch of guys declared for the NFL draft already. I'm assuming, like Miles Murphy and Breezy, I'm assuming they are gonna skip the bowl. Tennessee's defense ain't that great.
Right.
I'm wondering how much points they can actually put up, but I think Klubnik's going to be the guy. I think he's going to be the guy that wins this game for him.
I think Clemson's going to handle this game.
If Clemson loses, which hey, you never know. Without those guys in the defensive line, I think Clemson's defense can be completely had.
Yeah.
If Rattler and company can put up that many points against you, so can Milton.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how.
It's a weird. It's a good matchup, but it's a weird one. There's a lot of people out in key positions.
And I'm sitting here saying, I can't pronounce the guy's name. Klubnik. He's going to be the guy that I keep thinking. They don't have anybody else around him. Shipley's got to play. Mm-hmm. He's only a sophomore. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess maybe I could be wrong. Tennessee might win this game. Who knows? That's going to be a fun game to watch, though.
Absolutely.
Let's throw something up. Get a case of beer. Watch that game.
Yeah. Saturday, December 31st. These are the big Capital One bowl game matchups, and you got Alabama, Kansas State, All-State Sugar Bowl at noon of all times. They're playing.
The Sugar Bowl is at noon.
That is a night game.
It's always been the game that pissed me off the most because it starts at 8 o'clock, and I usually got to work the next day.
8:45.
And yeah, and then the Rose Bowl, second quarter, we programming note. The Sugar Bowl is going to start an hour later, so it's 9 something my time, and I'm like, God damn, now I got to wake up the ass crack it on and go to work, but I want to watch all the games because the Sugar Bowl is always a fun game to watch. Yeah. So they're playing it at noon, so good for them. I think it's stupid that the Rose Bowl is the bowl that calls all the shots. I know Joel Klatt was the Rose Bowl should be the destination. I would rather go to any of the bowls we just talked about over the Rose Bowl. Screw going over there. Yeah. But
Alabama, Kansas State.
Will Anderson and Bryce Young are going to play in this game. Alabama has no opt-outs. None. That includes dudes. Well, yeah, because the portal guys are already gone. Yeah. They've had a lot of portal guys. None of them that I've seen have been big contributors. Mm-hmm. Everybody else who's doing the NFL thing is coming to play this game. Kansas State's a really good football team. Yeah. All right, they got a really good defense. They got a good offense. Deuce Vaughn's awesome. Their wideouts can catch. The QB can throw. He's a gamer. Not an easy out.
Right.
Alabama's going to straight up murder them.
I think
they're going to put 55 up on them.
I think they're pissed off.
They're pissed off. They don't want to be here. No. Doesn't matter. Nick Saban has them right. Not a single guy opted out for a freaking noon game. Okay? They got something to prove. Mm-hmm. Nick Saban's we're going to use this game to show everybody we should have been in the playoffs, and then we're going to be number 1 or number 2 ranked going into next season. They're going to put up 55 on poor bastard Kansas State. And I feel so bad for them. It's the first wave on the shores at Normandy Beach. You know you're going to get machine gunned down, and you're just saying, dear Lord, dear Father, as the ramp's coming down, dude. Next thing you know, mowed down the whole boat. Alabama's going to do that.
I agree.
And I feel bad. I think, Josh Pate calls it the Sarah McLaughlin special. We got to come up with a new name for this one. It's just going to be a straight up murdering.
Iowa playing Kentucky. Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl.
They played, I could be wrong, but I thought they played each other last year. In the Outback Bowl. This is the game that I look at every day that's the most boring matchup ever. Two teams that don't really score a ton of points, 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of deal. Play strong defense. I think Kentucky's going to win. They're going to out-athlete Iowa. I don't care if Will Levis is playing this game or not. I'm sure Rodriguez will play. Mm-hmm. That dude is never going to skip a game.
Right.
I just think that they've got more athletes than Iowa does. Iowa's just got a boatload of really good transfer guys from the Big Ten coming from rival teams to Iowa, but Kentucky's going to beat them.
Yeah. And, of course, we talked about TCU, Michigan earlier. That's going to be the Fiesta Bowl. That's a playoff matchup. I see Michigan winning this game.
I do, too. Maybe a little closer. I think both games are going to be fairly close.
Yeah. And then at 8 o'clock, New Year's Eve, you got Ohio State and Georgia playing up the road in Atlanta in the Peach Bowl.
Georgia's favored by a touchdown. I don't know what Michigan's favored. I think it's 10. Mm-hmm. I still think Georgia Michigan, the rematch of last year's Orange Bowl, would be a hell of a national championship game. But we shall see.
Yeah, and all 4 of these teams have been off for a month, so you don't know who's going to come out of the gates firing on all cylinders. So, Monday, New Year's Day falls on a Sunday, so NFL is going to have that day.
I hate that rule, but whatever.
Monday, January 2nd. First game is a noon game. Mississippi State without Mike Leach will take on Illinois, which it was looking like a great matchup, and now it's going to be an emotional game.
Yeah, and I think that really does not bode well for Illinois.
Yeah.
They're a good football team. I have a feeling Mississippi State's going to just win one for the Gipper, kind of deal. Yeah. So, sorry, Illinois, you're probably going to get the ball thrown on you 65 times.
70 times. Yeah, they're going to make it rain. USC's playing Tulane. The Goodyear Cotton Bowl. The Cotton Bowl. What a weird matchup. I know Tulane's ranked 16th in the country, but they're going to get run out of the stadium.
I don't care. Yeah, USC's mad.
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley's got something to prove that he can win a big game.
Play?
I would imagine he plays. It's been enough time. He'll play, and it's going to be like a bunch of baby seals getting clubbed to death.
Yeah.
Not a pretty game, but I'll watch it. Watching Caleb Williams is fun as hell. They got some good players, man. The defense is not fun to watch. None of them, they don't know how to tackle, and I don't think they want to tackle. Number 18 is like 6'6", probably weighs like $198, and he's your inside linebacker. You're too small, dude.
They've got to get some players.
Yeah, they've got to get some guys on defense. Yes. Corey Foreman, best player in the country a couple years ago. He's really done a whole lot. But I see them winning this game.
The Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. So there's two Cheez-Its.
Cheez-It Bowls.
Yeah.
There's a Cheez-It Bowl and a Cheez-It sponsored Citrus Bowl.
Yeah. LSU versus Purdue, 1 o'clock on Monday, the 2nd. I don't know. I see LSU handling business there.
Yeah, and this one used to be, this was always the Capital One Bowl that they called, it was a Citrus Bowl, but yeah. Yeah, I think this doesn't really bowl. This is the loser of both conference championship games. I haven't seen who's opted out for LSU. I would imagine Keyshawn Boutte is coming back, so I imagine he's going to play this game. Mm-hmm. You should have both QBs ready to go. I think LSU, again, just like we talked about with Alabama, Kansas State, USC, Tulane, I think this is going to be an absolute drumming from start to finish. Yep. I don't really see Purdue having a lot of chance. No. You're watching the Big 12 championship game, man. The quarterback for Purdue, the guy's a gamer. Mm-hmm. He threw the football to Michigan way too many times. Yeah. LSU's going to beat the hell out of him.
Yeah. Utah's taking on Penn State at the Rose Bowl. Utah, I think, is going to win this game.
I do too.
No.
I think they're going to punch Penn State in the mouth. And I don't think Penn State's physical enough for Utah. Mm-hmm. I look at, Utah and what they do defensively, and I don't see Penn State having the type of skill position players that can make plays against that defense.
I agree.
Utah's going to beat them pretty good.
If you look at say there was a 12-team playoff that's coming in 2024, I think you could make
some problems to certain teams. I think a team, that I look at Michigan and what they're going against TCU. I see TCU's got a pretty good running back. Mm-hmm. Catch the football out of the backfield very well. They have a couple of them that can do that. Yeah. In fact, I think they led the NCAA. No, Mississippi State did. Mm-hmm. But they got some big-time wide receivers. Some top draft pick kind of wide receivers. And Michigan doesn't have, other than Donovan Edwards, they lost all's in the portal. All right, McNamara's gone. They don't have a lot of guys on the team in skill positions that I feel can exploit too many teams.
Right.
So a team like Utah could get into a 12-team playoff and cause some problems.
I agree. They play defense well. They do the little things well that some of these programs that are out there just slinging the ball around don't do. Mm-hmm. They had and arguably in the last 6 games of the season, last half of the season, they were one of the best teams in the country. Mm-hmm. They beat Oregon. They beat USC twice. I mean, they handle their business.
Yeah.
Transfer portal. Devin Leary is the top guy.
Yep.
And
he's Kentucky.
Yeah, that's what they're saying here on the 24/7 Sports.
A lot of guys have found homes already. There's over 1,000 players in the portal already, and a lot of them aren't going to find homes. Mm-hmm. A lot like Hudson Card with Texas. I mean, he's got he's a backup, and he knows he's not going to get a shot because they got Arch Manning coming in next year. But Devin Leary was a big surprise. Mm-hmm. But you know what? He's going to go to Kentucky. He's going to play in a better conference against better defenses.
Maybe have some better talent around.
Yeah, and who knows? He could really help his draft stock. So I think that's a good move.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you look at these things, you're like, man, that's a head scratcher.
Yeah.
They're good moves. DJ Uiagalelei. That dude was not going to play next year.
No.
Klubnik's going to get that job.
He has no choice but to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brendan Armstrong was like a 3-year starter at Virginia. All-time leading touchdowns accounted for. Word on the street from a friend of the show, Jerry Gurnt, thinks it's going to be Illinois, but I don't know.
We'll see. Jeff Sims is in the portal.
It's a lot of guys.
Yeah, because it's Kieran Drones.
Oh, look, he went back. He went back.
Yeah.
He went back to his old team. That dude did.
Yeah, Miami of Ohio. Running backs: Dylan Johnson, Mississippi State. L.L. Johnson from A&M's in the portal. Let's see who else we got.
Trey Sanders. He was a 5-star, #1 running back coming out of high school, but he had a really, really bad injury. Never really got back right.
Kavasier Smoke is in the portal.
Wow, I did not see that.
Yeah.
That's big. He's a good player.
He is
He's a really good player.
Let's see. You talking about
Marshawn Lloyd.
Running back, talking about him earlier.
He was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, out of Maryland. Blew an ACL freshman year, I think.
Jabel
Played really, really well this year, but the rumor is he's going back to Maryland. He's going home.
Yeah. You got was it Jaheim Bell from South Carolina?
Yep.
So what's going on?
He's a tight end.
He's a tight end, but they got him in.
But Lovett's the kid from Missouri.
Yeah.
That word is it's Georgia there.
Okay.
Yeah, Bell to Ohio State. Ra Thomas, Auburn looks like the favorite. Georgia's involved as well. Eric All, big tight end from Michigan, who played a boatload last year and this year.
Let's see what else we got. Deshaun Holden's going to Oregon. Fairweather, tight end, going to Auburn. Kyle Morlock. Okay. Offensive lineman.
A lot of offensive linemen in the portal, a lot of defensive linemen, linebackers. The only other guy's name I really know is the DB Bowie for kid from Georgia, was a 5-star athlete, went to A&M, was part of A&M's big class last year, and anyway, so he's in the portal. It looks like
Smoke Bowie.
Yeah, Smoke Bowie. It looks like it's going to be Georgia.
Does he come back home?
I kind of heard that like his family is involved and wants him to stay close to home. They didn't like the article mentioned like the culture at A&M wasn't good for him. They want to keep him at home. I don't really think Georgia would have taken him, but I think maybe like a parent was like, please help out. And I think the kid's good, but yeah, he's in. But then you look down the bottom. That's another Georgia commit, Marquise Groves Killebrew. It was a safety committed to the Dogs it was a long time commit. Flipped last minute to A&M with that big NIL deals that they were throwing at players last year. A bunch of dudes in the portal. I think 18 guys for A&M hit the portal. So a lot of names you might know, a lot of names you kind of like forgot about. Big time guys coming out of high school, never really lived up to the potential, and you kind of forget about them. 2-3 years later, they're transferring.
Yeah, they get buried in the depths.
Yeah, and sometimes all these dudes need is just change the scenery. Look at Lawrence Cager.
Yeah,
never really did a whole lot with Miami. He comes to Georgia for 1 year and then went to the NFL.
Yeah.
A lot of guys like that. The dude Fenwick from South Carolina played awesome yesterday for Oregon State. Makes a smart decision to transfer, and it bodes well.
Let's see if Colorado they've been up to.
They've already got they got Deion's son. Travis Hunter jumped in the portal yesterday after their game. That's a 5-star wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I know that they've landed a few guys. They just had a 4-star running back committed to Notre Dame flip to Colorado. So they're getting guys. Big offensive lineman in the state of Georgia, Bo Hughley, is on a visit to Colorado right now. So Deion's going to be a problem for some people. He's taking dudes out of the portal. He's flipping kids.
It's Teja Austin, West Virginia, going to Colorado. Yeah. Yeah.
On the defensive line. I mean, he basically came on tour and says, I'm looking for players. Yeah. So I think a lot of guys in the portal are going to look at Colorado, and Deion's going to have his pick of the litter, so to speak.
I mean, he's already he's got
Shedeur Sanders. That's his son.
Shiloh. Let's see.
So I don't know who Shiloh is. I know Shador's at someplace QB right there. Shador.
Yeah.
But yeah, Travis Hunter is doing the same thing.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's going to shake out here in the next few weeks.
I feel there's going to be some changes to the transfer portal. We have another 15-day window after spring practice. I think they're going to make some changes to the portal, so we'll see what happens.
I agree. All right, well, I guess this concludes this week's episode. A lot going on, a lot of shuffling of players all over the country, bowl games that are meaningless, and kids playing for paydays in the future. Yep. And playing time. So.
No bowl day is meaningless, in my opinion. I love them all.
Yeah. Well, I think as the years have gone on, the meaning of the bowl games has diminished.
Yeah, and I think, we were just talking about the transfer portal too. I know we've talked about it before, but it's a great way for, coaches to build up their team and kind of rebuild a little bit faster and get some experienced guys. There's a lot of experienced guys on that list. There's a lot of guys who are very talented players, a lot of guys who contribute early at certain schools. A lot of teams used it to their advantage last year. I see nothing changing this year. I think there's going to be teams that we're going to be talking about this time next year going to a good bowl game that got there by having 4, 5, 6 transfers that end up, turning their career around.
Yeah. And I don't know how this is going to play into the coaching carousel moving forward, but it's going to be a lot. It's just more and more attrition. A lot of programs are just going to be devastated. By
you got USC and UCLA leaving the Pac-12 for the Big Ten. There's teams maybe like a Fresno State, San Diego State. There's a lot of teams that maybe could be coming up. Excuse me. Pac-12 could be ripe for the taking if Deion Sanders, if he coaches the way he did at Jackson State, he gets some guys. A lot of guys want to play for him.
Right.
He's already got a lot of 4- and 5-star recruits already committed, plus some portal guys that could speed up turning Colorado around.
Right.
I don't think they're going to contend next year, maybe like the next 2 years. But I do think they win like 6-7 games, if not more, next year.
I think they're 8-4. I think that's a real possibility. That could be like a 10-win season for them.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if they can play a little defense and they can move the ball, they can make some noise out in the Pac-12. All right. Well, I guess that concludes this week's episode. You guys have a great week.
See you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Like I said.